Kris Bethea is here to discuss her techniques on protection for empaths. You know, for you that don't know about this, an empath is a highly sensitive person, often a psychic person, and this person can usually feel another person's emotions. And an intuitive empath usually feels, but doesn't actually hear emotions, right? So they can have another intuitive gift on top of that as well. Kris Bethea is a facilitator and empath caregiver at the Empath Support Group on Facebook, and she is here to discuss the techniques she's gleaned through her work with her 5,000 plus, almost actually 6,000 strong empath support group. Welcome. She is going to be working on us with shielding and her personal empathic protection and grounding techniques. If you are the highly sensitive, highly emotional, if you've ever been called neurotic, this is the show for you. These techniques will help you cope with the influx of other people's emotional states. And hello, welcome, Kris. Kris, are you here with us tonight?
I am, Carmen.
Hi.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for making the time to be with us and to talk openly about your group and your beliefs.
Wonderful. Sorry about the Skype problems.
Are you having okay? We are usually very understanding of that, and we work around that all the time. Thank you, Kris. And let me start with a little bit of an introduction about Kris's background. We wanted to clarify that she had actually a background not in the military, but that her husband was in the military and that she has traveled extensively across the world. You stayed mainly in Europe, is that correct too, Kris?
Yes, I was in Europe for 3 years and was stationed in Germany, and spent a lot of time traveling France and Liechtenstein, and I've been to London and just all over the place.
Phenomenal, which is making you multicultural for our program, which is really nice. Yes. Thank you. You also are a programmer, so you are and you're trained in programming and coding, so you're a very analytical type personality. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You have a Facebook group, but you're also basically moderating a large sample of the empath population. Tell us a bit about that experience.
Well, it started when a friend of mine, we were talking about being an empath, and we discovered the word, basically, and we're like, well, if there's other people like us out there, and I'm sure there are, then they're going to want to learn more, because, I mean, we're all learning the word and learning that we can feel other people, and sometimes that just makes us feel so alone and so different, and we decided that it would be a great idea to actually provide a support group where we can talk about what we're going through, so we can learn how to protect ourselves, so that we can actually participate in the world and not have to shun ourselves away because of being just overwhelmed by the feelings of everybody around us. So we wanted to start helping other people that were like us, and it really took off.
I know I wonder where you guys were all my life, you know?
Yes, well, the internet really has helped. I mean, I really don't think that any of this would have been possible without the internet, because you don't just sit down and talk to somebody, hey, are you an empath? I mean, it's just not something you do. But once you realize that there's a definition for it, there are other people that are going through it, and that there are ways to learn to protect yourself from it, then it's just wonderful. But when we were young, there was nothing like that, and we just had to just kind of roll with it and kind of keep to ourselves and become basically introverts. And it was, I mean, for some people it's really scary and just not very fun at all to actually be going through, okay, why am I feeling this way? There's nothing in my life to be sad about, but I'm just sitting here bawling my eyes out. While there's somebody like in the other room, or if you're in a coffee shop or something, somebody else is really sad and you're just picking up on it. And That's when you need to learn, okay, where is that emotion coming from? Is that if I'm not sad, it's got to be coming from someplace else. And finally, I was just able to make that connection. Well, somebody in here is sad. And then it just sort of like, it was just like, wow, okay. And then to find out that there's a word for it, and it wasn't just me, it was so wonderful to be able to not be alone anymore.
I do agree and I want to say that's a very nice, beautiful description of how I like to work, is to isolate what my groups of friends are like, if they are emotionally healthy, how they're affecting you. And also, it's true, to find actually a group of people you can relate to is amazing.
It really is.
So what happens to you when you do not shield? What happens to you? Do you get physically ill, or do you get anxious? Have you noticed?
It's been so long. I've learned how to shield, and it's just automatic now. I can pick people from the crowd if I want to pick up their emotions, and I can just shut it off. I mean, when I was a child, it would be tears, it would be happy, it would be sad, it would be stress. And even as a teenager, teenagers with all the emotions and all the hormones, it was just terrifying. It's like, what in the world's going on? But then I had my book. I was a nerd. I was a geek. I sat there and I read my book, and I didn't participate in a lot of things. And I just kind of secluded myself. But I was able to kind of use books as my shield to kind of get away from it all. I mean, I can lose myself in a book, and there's nothing else out there. And I think it was because of reading books that I was able to kind of figure out, okay, this emotion's not mine. It's coming from someplace else. And then once I got the hang of that, I was able to just kind of protect myself and just put the shields up. For a long time, for me, it was a wall. It wasn't just shields, and I just put a wall up against everybody. And I'm so against that, because you can basically you can hurt yourself. You can't be emotionally balanced. You can't participate in the world. You don't have any idea what's going on with anybody. It's like everything is just cut off from you. So I don't like the wall thing. I like a shield where you can discern people. Okay, I want to communicate with this one. I want to interact. I want to help this person. And then you let that person in, and you have a good energy exchange going on, and then you can figure out and reach them, and they can reach you, and it's all good. But when you have that wall, you really ruin any chances of having a true relationship, a true friendship. You just lose so much of what we are put on this earth to do that it just feels wrong now. Which is why I'm so glad that I can have this support group where I can say, okay, you don't want to turn it off. This is a gift. This is something that will allow you to help others. Well, once you learn how to protect yourself, and that's the very first and most important thing to do, is protect yourself. But once you get that ability to allow certain things in at a time, then you're able to help the people and still keep yourself, in a safe place.
That's true. I mean, and I think that the internet is a fairly safe space to start that. But I'm wondering, as an empath, for me, it's often even more intense, don't you find?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
When you're in the internet, it's a fairly safe space. But I find that the emotions become even more intensified. Is that the same for you?
Oh, yes.
From the other people, reading other people, than in real life even.
I've blocked people from my wall. I've unfriended people. If there's just too much drama, I can pick it up even more, because by reading it, I feel like I'm almost letting it in. So when I see those pictures of those poor puppy dogs that are being abused, it's like, okay, I don't want to see this. I am totally going to, in my area, if I see anybody, I'll report it. But I don't need to see those images because that pain is instantaneous. And that person, if they get one chance, but if they share that stuff anymore, it's like, I can't deal with that. Okay, you're gone. If they're a real-life friend, I just block them from my wall. If they're just a Facebook friend, then it's like, okay, how important are you, and do I really need your drama in my life? Because I'm already helping the animals in my local area. I'm already helping the people in my local area. I can't save the world. I do think empaths can save little corners of the world, but I think that they need to stick to their own little areas and not worry about something that they can't do anything about, which is really difficult for so many empaths.
Now, I think that's a wonderful point, that as a moderator for such a large group of people, you would have had to have come across some really difficult personalities. And I was having discussion with someone last night, also in the empath community, about there being different types of empaths, some perhaps not being so nice. The word associated usually with peace, compassion, and understanding is not always the case. I mean, of course, we have feelings, and that's where you're talking about shielding, because it's
Right.
a breathable, flexible place.
Yes.
People can improve.
Oh, yes. People can. I really think that everybody is born with the ability to be an empath. I think that a lot of times childhood and, well, like me, you just put up that wall and you don't let anything in. Or you get so much and you don't know what's going on, you're basically fried. So I think that just everybody can actually be an empath, which is different than having empathy. I want to point out that an empath actually feels other people's emotions as their own emotions, whereas having empathy for someone is like walking in their shoes. You can get empathy from a book. You can get empathy just from day-to-day things, imagining what it's like to be in somebody's shoes and going through that, or having experienced it yourself. That's different than actually feeling somebody else's emotions as your own, which is what you need to learn to shield against, so that you can discern your own emotions from anybody else's.
Well, that's very true, because I know that they've done studies on people with sociopathic or psychopathic traits, and a lot of them are very good mimics of compassion. And that would be one of the things that I think we see a lot of, is people that are able to really, walk, not able to necessarily walk the walk. They can talk the talk. And that always gets me, because I would imagine that, as an empath, I'm probably type A, pretty caring, pretty impressionable. And I haven't got the defenses or the skills that you have, because I've been offline for a number of years for different reasons. But I think that you're correct. I think that your theory on, I believe that psychologists do this as well for people with phobias, is that if you have a fear of people, and if you're, say, afraid of auras, or you're feeling too much input from your environment, to some extent, it is about acclimatizing to that and being able to put yourself as much as possible in that position, to a point of, not a point of failure. But I think it's a really important lesson for all of us. If you're afraid of walking across a bridge, just every day take a step in that direction.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's the people that have taken it and twisted it into something that is unpleasant, and they become people that can manipulate the emotions, because it's an exchange of energy. So you've got the empaths that feel everything, and then you've got the empaths that project everything. And empaths can do that naturally. And it's my goal in life, and I do it on a daily basis. I project love. I project happiness. I smile at people. And I think that just those little things really make a difference. But at the same time, there's those people out there that just take, and they send out that negative because they eat that they thrive on that negative. And that negative energy is sometimes you call them the psychic vampires. Sometimes we just call them I don't know, just negative people, and they never smile, and then they kind of push it off onto you, and empaths can pick up on that, and that's when shielding becomes so very important, is because you've got to recognize the people that are unable to, that are not being, that are being just too negative, and pull into yourself, so that you only have your own emotions, and you can say, okay, no, I don't need your negativity. I need you to stop. And sometimes if it's people that's in your lives on a daily basis, sometimes you have to somehow get away from them. And you need a safe place, and you need to have your shields up. Shielding is so important for the gift of empath, because it's the way you stay sane and protected and able to, make a difference.
So, Kris, what is a negative emotion? Is that anxiety, anger, sort of a manic joy, energy, or depression? Does it depend on your mood?
Well, negative emotions to me are the emotions that make you feel bad. It would be like depression. It would be anger. It would be frustration. It would be stress. So all those things are things that kind of lower our vibrational levels. And as spiritual beings having a human experience, we want to have the higher vibrational levels. And those are the happy, the joy, the excitement, just the thrill of being alive, that simple smile, that baby's giggle, all those wonderful things just raise our vibrational levels. And they are, it's just such a huge difference between when you're feeling down, and they say the word feeling down is what is negative, and it's always been slang. You feel down, you feel bad. When you feel good, you feel up, you feel high, you're just in a different vibrational level. And
so how do you deal with these people? I had a comment on my blog the other day. Good grief. They said to me, how could you write about empaths being peaceful or not? Why don't you write about some killer headlines? And you're so vanilla. And there's almost I was really laughing, because, well, that's the point. The point is, I enjoy being good. I enjoy the pleasure I get out of altruism. And it really is not put on. So how do you deal with those folks in your group? This is a deeply cultural issue. People want to hate, and they want to put you down for doing what you consider the right thing, which makes you feel good. You're not doing it to change necessarily their point of view. This makes you feel better? Isn't that correct?
Yes, it is. But I feel good when other people feel good, and it's just a wonderful experience to go through that cashier's line and smile and say something just uplifting to the cashier who was down before, and then all of a sudden they smile at you and their day is better. And then I believe in the pay it forward. I think that they will make the next person feel better, and it will just continue doing that, and we can make such a huge difference. I don't understand why people would want the negative. I don't understand why people would say, well, why smile all the time? Why be positive all the time? Why see the bright side of everything? Why be just so happy all the time? And it's well, because it feels good. How could anybody not know how good it feels to feel good? I know that kind of sounded redundant, but it's how do they not? You're healthier, you're happier, you have so many wonderful uplifting moments when you just smile at somebody or wave at somebody, and to think that people out there are like, why do you want to do that? It's well, try it, you might like it. And then you never really know what happens. But if it's somebody on a daily basis, it's it really makes a difference. And of course there's always the law of attraction too. There's so many benefits to being uplifting and to making that little bit of difference in a life that I don't see any reason why anybody wouldn't want to. It's just incomprehensible to me.
I don't get it either. I would say the only comment I have is that I've probably noticed in my studies on, internet and propaganda is that people just don't like being told or what to do. They're probably inherently pretty smiley and friendly themselves, but the moment they have to be told, that they are part of a group, I think they're probably not group or team players. Or they're of a different team, and they're probably antagonists. A portion of those people are probably going through grief and are angry. Yet I imagine that, but I agree with you that there's something to be said about at least having a sense of humor, even during the worst of times. And that's what's gotten me through. And, I think that if you live in a city, right, you have to really maintain that. Otherwise, people just forget. It is a chain reaction. To look somebody in the eye and to smile at them. It will affect, if you do it to one person, I'm sure the next 100 people they see. Guaranteed.
Definitely. And it feels good to be one of those
what sign are you?
that starts
I'm sorry
the
to
ripple
interrupt.
of
What
good.
sign are you?
I'm sorry?
What sign are you? What star sign?
I'm a Taurus, but I have a Gemini moon, and my Gemini is sometimes pretty strong in me, and I have a lot of Gemini tendencies. I'm basically a cusp. My birthday is April 21st, so I've got a little bit of Aries there too. So I've got, just a little bit of everything. And if you go even deeper, I've got all four signs. Maybe not necessarily a balance, because I definitely have a lot of fire, but I got a lot of water, and of course my Taurus is my earth, so I've got my grounding right there.
Tell us about grounding. Tell us about the difference between shielding and grounding, please.
Grounding to me is where you connect to Mother Earth. You reach out through your root chakra or your feet, and you connect with Mother Earth, and Mother Earth can handle everything. I mean, if you need to be a rock, you be that rock, you connect to Mother Earth, and you have that protection right there, because Mother Earth just is, she's solid. She's there, and she can handle everything. Shielding is, to me, is a means of protecting yourself from, it's like wearing armor. You can protect yourself from too much energies, too much negative, well, I don't believe there's too much positive, but some people get overwhelmed even when there's too much positive. But the shielding will actually, you can discern different things and allow some in and take it off when you want to, like a suit of armor. It's just something that is completely under your control, and it's a way to still be protected in the world. But I mean, sometimes you need to ground and actually be fully protected, like sleeping or during certain times. And then there's other times when you're just shielding and you're okay. I'm talking to this person, but I don't need all these other emotions. Just concentrate on this person. At least that's what it means to me. There's been a lot of different definitions for grounding and shielding. So
what do you do?
What they mean to me. I'm sorry?
What do you do when you want to ground? Could you tell us a sort of a step-by-step process, please? I'd be very interested. We all would.
Well, when I ground, I mean, if it's a good grounding, I like to just feel the earth. I like to touch the ground. I like to touch a tree, take off my shoes and be barefoot. I like that touch, the touch to Mother Earth. And then I can also visualize my root chakra connecting to Mother Earth. I also like to do like the tree of life, where my root chakra is the roots going into Mother Earth, and then my crown chakra is the branches going up into the universe. And then I feel like I'm kind of connected to everything, which we are all connected, so that just kind of fulfills that that feeling of oneness with everything. Shielding is the more important, I think, for me. One of my favorite shielding methods is the like a waterfall falling down over my head, and it pushes away the negative emotions. And I mean, you can always allow in the good emotions, but if you want them all, I mean, you control it. So you have that waterfall running down over your head, going into Mother Earth, taking all the bad stuff, taking everything that's not yours with you, and just dropping into Mother Earth, and she can change it into, positive energies and healing and everything else. So I just give it to her. One of my favorite ones for my son, who is also an empath, is a snow globe. And at a young age, I had him imagine a snow globe around him. And then, of course, you have the little snowflakes twinkling here and there, and it would reflect all the negative emotions, but would let in the good stuff. And after a while, it became automatic for him. And even now, my waterfall or any other visualization for shielding has become automatic, and it's just off or on, basically. Okay, I'm concentrating here, I'm blocking here, I've got to concentrate. This website's due in 5 hours, I got to get this done. Okay, the outside world is now gone. That sort of thing. But
that's so cool. You've been teaching your kids. How are they responding to this?
Oh, he's great. He is now a teenager. He's 13. And he can still pick up emotions, but he says, and I've talked to him because of various things and discussions in the Empath Support Group, I've talked to him about, okay, how do you do it now? He's like, it's just automatic, Mom. But he is so good with children. I get compliments on how understanding he is and how helpful he is and how he really cares about people and how he's just a really strong and has really great understanding for children and his peers and even young adults. I mean, it's just, I'm so proud of him. He has really come into himself, and he can really utilize his gift to help people, and he's really I really think he's gonna make a difference. Of course, proud mom bragging here, all moms are gonna say that.
No, but this is a topic in itself. And does he talk to his friends about this at all, or does he keep it to himself?
I don't think it really comes up. Empaths, I think they have, the way the empaths work is there's one in a community or one in an area. I mean, he might have a couple friends that are empaths, and I think I have some suspicions, but especially for a boy, that's not something you say, hey, are you an empath? That sort of thing. So it's possible that he has friends that are empaths, but he has a very tight group of friends, and they all really understand each other, they all care about each other, and there's just a lot of love there. So I don't know if he's the glue that holds them together, but I think he has a lot of fun and just enjoys. He's very much an extrovert with his friends, but he becomes an introvert when he's in new situations. But eventually, he even comes out and gets a grasp on everything and can handle things. So we're so lucky to have such a strong group of people that are discovering their empath gifts now, and they have children who they are able to teach how to protect themselves. Our children are going to be so strong with their gifts that they're going to really be making a difference, and it's just so exciting to see what's going to happen with our next generations. I mean, there's people that say that they're scared about the upcoming generations, but I really think that it's going to make a difference. So
I really agree with you, and that's the idea, and I really hope that does supplant some of the electro pollution that we have by our devices and the artificiality in the media that we're now bombarded with lately. So I'm just going to quickly put us into a quick commercial, and one moment, we're going to be right back.
A new era in psychic services has begun. PsychicAccess.com. You can connect with our psychic advisors by telephone or chat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All of our psychic advisors are interviewed, fully verified, and accuracy tested, assuring you quality service. We're living in some very troubled times right now. More and more, the world's problems are affecting us on a personal level. You don't have to deal with this alone. Our highly accurate psychics, caring advisors, and talented mediums can help with situations you are currently experiencing and can let you know what the future may hold for you. All new customers get a free 6-minute reading. All you have to do is register. Why not visit us now and get a free reading at PsychicAccess.com.
Wonderful. Hey, we're back. So here we are with Kris Bethea. She's discussing with us techniques about being an empath, a psychic empath, or just your regular everyday empath. Welcome back, Kris. And we were talking about the world and what waits our children, or the ones that don't have kids, the kids, and our future care providers, programmers, and pilots of this world. How do we deal with all of this grief and trauma? And it's just so wonderful to see that mothers are embracing this. Tell us about how people are in the area that you live in. You say you live in the Kansas area. How are you finding this is being received? Do you espouse this or go to any community meetings?
I haven't started any community meetings locally. I will be teaching a class at a festival later this spring. I'm very excited about that. It would be interesting to see what would happen to actually physically meet people. But at the same time, I'd be nervous because so many empaths would be so new that you would need a safe space in order for them to actually be able to be comfortable with each other and to make sure that there aren't any empaths that don't have good intentions. So I like the anonymity of the internet and the Facebook group because it just makes it so much easier to, you can have that one-on-one. You can look at them and you can figure out, okay, this person's okay. But if you meet with a whole group of people, it would be overwhelming. It would be like, okay, I'd have to, as a founder, I would have to meet each one individually and say, okay, you're fine, and then of course that would just be so nerve-wracking for me because it'd be like, okay, I have to protect these people. I know these are empaths. They are good people. They are new to being empaths, and they can't necessarily protect themselves. And I'd be just terrified of messing up or letting somebody come in that didn't have good intentions and would be just all worried about the semantics of having a group of unknown people come together to just meet. So, it's a good idea, but at the same time, it's a frightening idea. The class that I'll be teaching this spring will be in a safe area. It'll be a group of people that are already together and already know each other somewhat, and it's like a big community. So that would make me much more comfortable than having a meetup like at a coffee shop here in town or even at somebody's house because you don't know what kind of people you're going to get on a one-to-one basis.
Yeah, that's always the most overwhelming. And how do you deal with hurt, Kris? How do you deal with being hurt by these people? Most of us want to know.
Yeah, it's very difficult. I am ever the optimist. It annoys the heck out of some people, but I always see the good in people. And I think this is part of my gift is 9 times out of 10, the people try to live up to my expectations. When some people are with and meet people that aren't, what they say they are, sometimes that expectation is, they get hurt. And I won't say I've never been hurt, and I've definitely had my experience with people that, you just can't help. But at the same time, I go out and I have the high expectations. Okay, this time's going to be different. You're going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. We're all going to be fine. But when you get to that point after maybe you give them 2 chances, and it's like, okay, you've had 2 chances. You continue to hurt me. I'm not going to allow you to do that anymore. I love myself too much. I am too important. I can't allow you to do this to me any longer. You have to get out of my life. That's all there is to it. And I have to do that one thing that's so hard for empaths to do. Is like, okay, stop. I can't handle your negativity. I can't handle your depression. I can't handle your sadness. You have to try, because you can fix yourself. You can do something to improve yourself. But if you choose not to, and I can't help you, and I can't be spending my energy on somebody who really doesn't want to be helped, it's like, okay, come back to me when you're ready to be helped, because I'll always be here for you. But until you are ready to take control of your life and to stop finding the negative in everything, to stop having all that drama, until you get to that point where you're ready to do that work, then I can't help you. And if I can't help you, I can't spend my energy on you. So take it elsewhere, and I'll be here when you're ready. But until then, you have to just be a strong empath, and it hurts so much to say, I can't help you until you can help yourself. And it's devastating. And but you have to do it, because you have to protect yourself, because you can't help this person over here, little Sally Joe over in the corner. She's ready to be helped. But if you're spending all your time on Freddie, you don't have the energy for Sally Joe. So it's like, okay, I want to help Sally Joe because she's ready to be helped. She's ready to learn how to protect herself and to use her gift and to be happy. So I can't be everything to everybody. I want to be what I can to people who are ready to be strong and to love themselves and to actually make a difference, and to let go of the drama and the negativity.
And I think importantly, don't you think that when you say, may I just point out, the misconception is, that you have to love yourself, and that most people would think, well, that would mean that me and my 10 commandments, or me and my value judgment, or what my parents taught me, and that makes me a good person. But yet, doesn't loving oneself also mean warts and all, negativity and all, depression and all, and then you're ready to be helped? What is the perfect self?
It is, one of the things that I start off with people is like, you need to be able to look in the mirror and say, I love you, and be able to mean it. You have to accept the good and the bad. You're going to have times of depression. You're going to have times of anger. You're going to have times of sadness. You're human. We are a spiritual being having a human experience. And you're going to have all these emotions because you're wanting to have these emotions. You're wanting to have a human experience, and that means all of the emotions. But you have to love yourself. You have to love your soul. You have to love these emotions. You have to love the trials and the joys and the rewards and everything that you go through. So you can look in the mirror and say, okay, you're sad today, but I still love you. You might not be sad tomorrow. You won't be sad tomorrow. You should think positive. You won't be sad tomorrow, but you can be sad today, and I still love you. Okay, you can be angry today. It's okay to be angry. I still love you.
And how would you describe that love? Because I would imagine it's not like the, oh, I'm so hot kind of love. It's more like a deferral, like I I can accept myself. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. It's like just simple love, like parent to child love. It's yourself to yourself love. It's just a simple. I mean, it's just energy. Love is energy. So you're just sharing that energy with yourself. You're looking in the mirror and say, "I love you." And one of the shows I like to have people watch is What the Bleep, and it's such a good movie where it talks about how you talk to yourself, how you feel, is reflected back onto yourself, and it's just the energy and the emotions. And if you're hard on yourself all the time, then you don't ever get any better. But if you find, just something good, and then, okay, well, I was a little bit messed up with this today. I'm going to do better tomorrow, and I'm just going to continue getting better. And it's so difficult. I understand for some people, but you take it in baby steps, and you're like, okay, well, I really like my eyes. I love my eyes. And then you just kind of grow into it as you can, but your ultimate goal is like looking in the mirror and say, I love you, and mean it to yourself. And it changes everything, because, you see, and it lifts that vibrational level again, and you can go out and help people, because if you try to help people when you're not in a good place yourself, you use that kind of as a blanket, and you're hiding behind this blanket of, okay, I'm helping everybody else, and it makes me feel good, but you still have to get around that blanket and love yourself and accept yourself for who you are. You can't just spend all your time, okay, helping everybody else. That makes you feel good, and that's great, and I don't want you to stop, but you also have to fix yourself. And that's where I think a lot of people go wrong, is they're trying to help everybody else, and they don't ever help themselves, because sometimes they don't think they're worthy, or they just are too sad, or they just don't even know themselves enough to know that, hey, I love myself too. I got to love myself too, because I can make a difference, but I can make an even better difference when I don't have to worry about myself anymore, because I love who I am.
That's such an important point, and that some people can have help out burnout, and I would say that a portion of that would really help spur a lot of change in those areas. But like you say, the sustainability and the being able to train yourself to probably enjoy other aspects of life, I would really readily agree with you that it can be addictive. And I would really say, through all my experience and all my work, that it's a very difficult habit to get out of. And that after you have become empathic or very receptive to other people and helping other people, it's very important to retrain back in and to focus on you. And that would be about probably selecting the right groups of people in your life. Is that correct?
Yes. It's so important to have your base friends that are not going to have the drama. Okay, everybody's going to have drama once in a while, but you want people that are on the same level you are. Your close friends. You're going to have acquaintances, and you're going to have other people, but you want that close-knit group of people that are on the same vibrational level that you are, that are trying to achieve the same goals, that are trying to continue to improve themselves, to raise their own vibrations, to actually make a difference, but they can come back to themselves. And that kind of little support group is just absolutely amazing in bolstering your own vibrational level and your own gift and your ability to go out and help others, and then come back to a safe place and share it, or just get hugs. Oh my gosh, hugs are so wonderful. I have an RDA of hugs. Yes. I like to get as many hugs as I can. But that's another exchange of energy, and it just makes a huge difference. Just a smile, a hug, and you just have those friends that you can do that with, and that exchange, and truly have kind of a small support group. Now, not everybody's going to be able to do that. It's good to have, but you have to be very discerning on their vibrational levels, their abilities to love themselves, their own path that they're on. Sometimes they come together, and then sometimes they go apart. You're always going to have that ebb and flow of friends and close-knit friends and people in your life.
And it's okay to, what I'm seeing a lot in the cultural crosstalk is that it is for the sake of freedom of expression or appreciating other people's point of view that you have to listen to negative viewpoints. Whereas I have found, like you, that I prefer to not friend people that have violent imagery or that are constantly political, constantly on a mission. Those things are the real, true, authentic you. And I think it's really important to differentiate between the idea of I in empathy and we in empathy. I think it's wonderful. By the way, I wanted to tell you guys all that you have to check out her group. We'll be giving out the link address again later in the show. But let me tell you, it's a really nice self-made community. And Kris is posting all the time, and she's often really monitoring, helping, and probably doing a lot of email on the side, because I've heard from some of the people in your group, and a lot of them are very deeply feeling people. A lot of women. Is that correct, or how would you say the proportion is gender-wise?
Definitely more women, but I am pleased anytime that there are men that are coming in, because there's such strong male stereotypes that saying men can't feel, men shouldn't feel. It's not manly to feel, and it's like, no, it is manly. Men need to feel. You want to have men in your lives that can feel, that allow themselves to feel. But yes, there are definitely much more females that are willing to, that are recognized as they're empaths as opposed to males.
And occasionally I come across in my readings people saying, my boyfriend said I can feel you. And I think that's just so beautiful when a man can do that. And there are actually some really strong men out there that can admit to a sensitivity and feeling. I'm really proud of them, and their numbers are really growing. And I would say it's almost like a new demographic. It's really, really nice, very nice. So
it's amazing, and I have such high hopes for these younger generations where it is okay for guys to feel, where it's more accepting. I mean, there's always going to be cultural differences and areas where men still aren't allowed to feel or express their feelings, but at the same time, I see that changing, and I have such high hopes that it will continue to change, and that men will no longer have to be the strong, silent type, and they can touch their feminine side, and they can say, okay, I feel you. And I just have such high hopes for the society, for the younger generation.
Absolutely. And for those, I think they're becoming very sensitized due to a lot of sound. And as you can hear here, we even have a fire truck going by, and stimulus in the background. It's making us hypersensitive to other people. What recommendation would you give for somebody that is just starting grounding, just starting to feel themselves? And we have about 4 minutes left, and I wanted you to just power pack this idea.
Protect yourself. Look inside and see if the emotions are yours and figure out where they're coming from. Shield and ground to kind of block out everything else and learn your own emotions. Once you learn and recognize your own emotions, you don't need, then you will know if you need to have your shields up. It's just recognizing your emotions from somebody else's, and you find the root of your emotions. So a lot of meditation. Stay away from the news. Stay away from negative people. Learn yourself in the beginning. Just learn and love yourself and accept your own emotions and follow them through.
And do you may I ask you so personally, you're able to do this through just the network online? And fortunately, I mean, I think that's so fabulous about the online community is no actual a personal interface with anybody. You're able to figure this all out on your own and get the support online. And we're going to give the group address here as well. It's facebook.com/groups/capital E for empath, capital S for support, capital G for group /. Just do a search on Empath Support Group. I think that you're doing a phenomenal job. I really find your group extremely positive. I am so delighted to have had you here tonight. Such a joy to have had you on. Really looking forward to getting to know you thoroughly and all the people. And I really want to thank you and your friends for coming to this program tonight. Really, Kris, so cool.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, Carmen. I really enjoyed chatting with you, and just been really great.
Stick around for the Q&A if you want afterwards, and feel free to feed any questions in, and we're going to be having a call-in soon. And Kris, thank you again. Blessings. Have a wonderful night. And as you like to say, huggles.
Huggles. I love those huggles. Well, thanks again. Bye. It's been delightful.
Hello, my name is Res Miranda. If you're having relationship, career, or life issues, I'm inviting you to experience what it's like to have access to professional, highly accurate psychics and spiritual advisors you can trust to care and help you. Register now to get your free 6-minute reading by telephone or chat. Get answers, get access, psychic access, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. PsychicAccess.com.